it's Kathy with inkingitupwithkathy.blogspot.com, an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up. And here I am with a video on one of these cute, adorable pop-up cards. I'm not sure what they call this fold, but they started coming out about 2 months ago, where I was seeing a lot of these. This one was made by Jennifer, who is part of a swap that I participate in every month. And I love these little cards, and so I thought, well, I want to make one of those and show some customers how to make them as well. But I started watching videos, and it was cut here and measure there and mark here and score there. And it was very involved to get these angled cuts and everything. I thought there's got to be an easier way, because that's what I'm all about, is easy. So I played around with it, and here's what I came up with. So I'm going to put Jennifer's card aside, and I'm going to be using the Merry Mice stamp set to show you this card. So let me get started. So the first piece is a standard half sheet, which is 4 1/4 inches wide by 11 inches, and it's scored at 5 1/2. And we're going to just fold that in half, because that'll be our card base. And I'll just set that to the side for now. I have 2 pieces of the designer series paper from the main catalog that are cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and we'll get back to those in a few minutes. Next, I have a piece that's 8 1/2 inches across and 2 1/2 inches here. And then I've got a small scrap piece. And finally, I have this piece here, and it's 11 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And I do have a couple of other little pieces. I've got 4 pieces cut of the garden green, and they are 2 1/2 inches square, and 4 pieces of the very vanilla, and those are 2 1/4 inches square. So let's set this all off to the side, and we'll get started with some scoring. This one here is that center piece that pops up and has the different panels in it. And so I'm going to swing this out, and it's going to score at 2 3/4, at 5 1/2, and at 8 1/4, or you could always swing it around and do 2 3/4 again if you didn't want to pull your arm out of your cutter. Okay, so I'm going to fold that in half at the 5 1/2 inch. And then these pieces are going to fold back towards each other here and here, so it becomes an accordion fold. So we'll get those all folded up. Set that to the side. So this is the piece, which is the 8 1/2 by 2 1/2, and this is the one that's going to create the popping up. And I'm going to take this and put it at 1 1/4 inches lengthwise, and that is the halfway point on this. And we're going to score right down the center like that. Then I'm going to take my Simply Scored with the diagonal plate inserted in it, and at 3 inches, I'm going to score, and then flip it over, and again at 3 inches, I'm going to score. I'll take this piece and fold down this way and fold down this way. And for this long one here, instead of folding toward me like I did on these others, I'm going to fold away from me, like that. So now I've got this. If I take my finger right in that center portion and press down and squeeze these outside edges, you'll see it starts to come together and fold, and that's what we want. And you'll place it down like this and really get a good solid fold on there. Crease those well, just like that. Okay, and so those are ready to go. Now here is my only measuring and marking that I have to do for this card, which I really like. And this is quick and easy, which is another thing I really like. So at 2 inches, I'm going to measure lengthwise. I'm just going to mark it right there. I'm going to turn it here and put it at 2 inches. And mark it here. And mark it at this end here. Now keeping both pieces together, because I can, and I don't like to have to do things more than I need to, I'm going to put those marks in the little trough of my cutter. So just line those up and cut that triangle out. Spin it around this way, find the mark here and that point again, and cut. So now I have my 2 pieces like this. Super easy. And then my final piece is I'm going to take, it's a 1/4 sheet cut down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to cut that in half at, not in half, but at 3 inches. So that's going to leave me with a piece that's 2 1/4 inches. So on this one here, I'm going to take the Caroling Mouse from the Mary Mice stamp set and the Archival Black ink pad. I'm going to ink him up and stamp him down. And then I'll take my adhesive. Now he is going to go up in the top of my card, and this point is going to be down at the bottom like this. So I want to put him on this piece this way. And I'm going to match up the bottom corners with that point, just like that. Okay. And then on this one here, I'm going to take the Merry Christmas and the Garden Green ink. And I only want the Christmas part. I don't want the Merry. So I'm going to just quickly look down the edge of my pad and line it up so I'm catching the one word but without catching the Merry, and ink that up. And I'll even just wipe across like this just in case, but it doesn't look like I got any. And I'm going to be down and to the right of center, just like that. Okay. So now we can put some ribbon on this. Well, let's attach this. And this one I'm actually, because it's smaller, I'm going to center it between these 2 points. So this will go right about there. Then I'm going to take the Cherry Cobbler ribbon from the holiday catalog that comes with the Emerald Envy ribbon as well, and my Terran tape. And what I like to do is take my tear and tape and place it onto my paper, because if you try and place it onto your ribbon may wave and you won't end up with a straight piece. I also like to work on a non-stick surface, and that way I can just stick this right down onto that surface and still pull it back up. So I'm going to put this right here and this one right here. Pull those up. Fold them around to the back side. I always fold around pieces instead of trimming, because that way you're not running the risk of a frayed edge like this showing on the front of your card. So we'll come to this little guy here, get him done as well. Okay, now your little mouse is done. Now, since I am all about the tips and tricks and shortcuts and all those wonderful things, here's my next one, which I saw on Linda Bowen's website, and I thought that is a great idea. So I'm going to share it with you today. So I have a scrap piece of cherry cobbler, and I have the little Mary from the Christmas Greetings framelit set. And I want to cut this out, and I want to put that on here. But I don't want to have to use the fine tip glue pen or the liquid glue and get that on there. She showed a way to make it so much easier. So I'm going to take a piece of my tear and tape, and I'm going to go right down the center of my cardstock, just like that. I'm going to move these pieces out of the way and bring in the big shot. And we'll place this side that has the tear and tape down this way, and place your framelit in the same location that you know that tear and tape is on the back side. And send it on through. Easy peasy. Pull it out. Get your little extra pieces out of there. And wait for it. Check that out. Check that out. So these can just come off of here. And if you caught the obviously at the top of this, then you wouldn't have all these different little pieces. But I think that this is still quicker than dealing with that liquid glue. And so just continue to take these off. There we go. And this will come right in here and go right down on here. And please, I apologize to you. I have a cold, and but I did want to get this to you and share it. So there's our pieces. And you'll want to do some coloring, but we'll do that off camera. Okay, so now we're going to start assembling this. And you're going to use this piece here and your card itself. And I recommend using Fast Fuse or another really good adhesive, a liquid adhesive, something that's really going to stick well. You're going to place that into the center of your card, up at the top. and allow it to kind of move down with the closing of the card. Make sure it's in there as straight as you can. And close the top. And press down on that area. And it's glued there. Turn it around. And do the same thing on this side. And close it again. So now you have this piece that opens and closes like this. Okay? So now we'll go ahead and create our little mice across the center. And the first one we'll do is the sentiment, which is wishing you a festive season. And this is in garden green. And we'll put it on this piece here. That will go there. Then we'll take our basic black ink and the 3 little mice. And we'll get some Post-it notes. We'll start with this little guy here. Put a Post-it note over him, or the other 2, and ink him up. Pull it off and stamp. Then you'll want to take your mist or, you know, a baby wipe. Baby wipes don't work quite as well as cleaning this way, but you do want to make sure whatever you use, it's dry. So we're going to clean him off, and then we're going to make sure on this side that he is good and dry. Okay. Set that to the side because we'll need it one more time. And I recommend getting another Post-it note because this black ink does seep through pretty well. And you don't want to have that seep through onto your paper or onto your rubber and then go onto your paper. So now we're going to mask her off. Cute little one in the center. And ink her up. Get rid of the masks. Always important. And stamp her down. And once again, come in with our cleaner. Clean them up. And do our final mouse over here on the right side. Ink him up. Okay. So now we can attach all these. Oops. Yeah, we'll leave him. Now, if you have that happen, let me show you a technique for solving that problem. You don't have it on there straight, just take your heat gun, and this only works if you're using like snail adhesive. Some of the other more solid adhesives this won't work for, but with the mono adhesive or snail adhesive, this works. So just heat it till it starts to curl a little bit, and that softens all that adhesive, and you can peel it right up, start over. You want to put in new adhesive because that's no longer as tacky. And place that back down. See, you got an added tip. That was an unplanned one. this little mouse. And finally, this little mouse goes on here. Flip these guys over. Get my little ridged piece. He's gonna go here. This one will go here. This one will go here. And finally this one here. Okay, so now we've got these guys. We've got this piece. And we've got these. So let's go ahead and place these down. So we'll start with this one. And he's going to go up and then the top. And the other good thing about this is it will fit right down into this V'd area and also cover up that seam so it's not even noticeable. Do this one. And place it in here. Just like that. Okay, now to the difficult part, assembling this guy. Take your 4 pieces and close them up like this. Imagine that they are a book, okay? And you're gonna want to be placing your book in the top. But before you do that, over in this side here, you want a real good solid adhesive. I'm going to recommend on the Fast Fuse. Now, you need to keep it out in this outside, maybe inch square. So just put a little bit and only in this top half, not below this score line. Okay, just right there. Again, I said you have a book and you're going to put your book sideways and close it up so that the opening of it is up here at the top, and you're going to place it just centered on there, just like that, just inside of this top line. You've got your adhesive right here. You're going to close your card down on that and press. Okay, so now you've got this side attached. Okay, now we're going to work on this side. This is the opposite. So where you had attached adhesive in this top corner, you're going to do it in this bottom corner. Again, only out on this outside edge. Just like that. Don't get over that fold and don't go in too far this way, otherwise it's going to stick out here. This time, you're going to hold that up out of the way, but now you're going to make that book sit at the bottom, not at the top, at the bottom this time. And then you're going to squeeze it shut. And there it opens. Now, if you have trouble with that, don't put these guys down until you're all ready. And then that way you don't risk them being upside down or something. But there's the card. And I'll show you what I did for the original when I was playing with this so that you can see the front. And I used some more of the Designer Series paper, some ribbon, the oval, layering ovals, framelits, and this little mouse. And so again, as you can see, here they are all colored. Isn't that cute? And pretty easy to make. So I hope you enjoyed that video.